The room stood empty. Empty, silent, and dark. What happened? Where is everyone? Stephanie cried. We took another step into the dark room. The floor creaked beneath us, the only sound. I don't get it, Stephanie whispered. Didn't we just hear voices in here? Lots, I said. They were laughing and talking. It really sounded like a party. A big party, Stephanie added, her eyes darting around the empty room. Tons of people. A cold chill ran down the back of my neck. I don't think we heard people, I whispered. Stephanie turned to me. Huh? They weren't people, I croaked. They were ghosts. Her mouth dropped open. And they all disappeared when we opened the door? I nodded. I think I can still feel them in here. I can feel their presence. Stephanie let out a frightened squeak. Feel them? What do you mean? At that moment, a cold wind came whooshing through the room. It rushed over me, cold and dry, and it chilled me down to my toes. Stephanie must have felt it too. She wrapped her arms around her chest. Brr! Do you feel that breeze? Is the window open? How come it got so cold in here all of a sudden? She asked. She shivered again. Her voice became tiny. We're not alone in here, are we? I don't think so, I whispered. I think we just crashed someone's party. Stephanie and I stood there, feeling the cold of the room. I didn't dare move. Maybe a ghost stood right beside me. Maybe the ghosts we heard were all around us, staring at us, preparing to swoop over us. Stephanie, I whispered, what if we really have crashed their party? What if we've invaded the ghost quarters? Stephanie swallowed hard. She didn't reply. Hadn't Andrew, the ghost boy, lost his head when he stumbled into the ghost living quarters? Were we standing in the same living quarters? The same room where Andrew found the ghost of the old sea captain? Stephanie, I think we should get out of here, I said softly. Now. I wanted to run. I wanted to fly down the stairs. Fly out of Hill House. Fly to my safe, warm home where there were no ghosts. No ghosts. We spun around and bolted for the door. Were the ghosts going to try to stop us? We made it back into the flickering orange light of the hallway. I pulled the door shut behind us. The stairs! Where are the stairs? Stephanie cried. We stood at the end of the hall, facing a solid wall. The flowers on the wallpaper appeared to open and close, moving in the darting candlelight. I banged both fists against the wall. How do we get out of here? How? Stephanie had already pulled open a door across the hall. I followed her inside. Oh no! Ghostly figures filled the room. It took me a few seconds to realize that I was staring at sheets pulled over furniture, chairs and couches covered with sheets. Maybe this is the ghost's living room, I stammered. Stephanie didn't hear me. She had already burst through the open door against the far wall. I followed her into another room, cluttered with large crates. The crates were piled nearly to the ceiling. Another room, then another. My heart began to pound. My throat ached. I felt so discouraged. Were we ever going to find our way to the stairs? Another door, another dark, empty room. Hey, Steph, I whispered. I think we're going in circles. Out into a long, twisting hallway. More candles. More flowers flickering darkly on the wallpaper. We ran side by side down the hall, until we came to a door I hadn't seen before. A door with a horseshoe nailed onto it. Maybe it meant that our luck was about to change. I sure hope so. I grabbed the knob with a trembling hand. I pulled open the door. A staircase. Yes, I cried. Finally, Stephanie gasped. This must be the servants' staircase, I guessed. Maybe we've been in the servants' quarters all this time. The stairway was blanketed in darkness. The stairs looked steep. I took a step down, holding onto the wall. Then another step. Stephanie had one hand on my shoulder. When I stepped down, she stepped down too. Another step. Another. The soft thuds of our sneakers echoed in the deep stairwell. We had taken about 10 steps when I heard footsteps. Someone coming up the stairs.